Sharon, tell us about your relations with the Project Hired and how you came here.
Well, thank you very much for asking. My name is Sharon Winston, and I have the honor of being the CEO of Project Hired. And actually, I've been a volunteer for nearly 30 years, so I started out a long time ago, actually supporting services as a trainer and as a coach. But primarily what Project Hired does is they help individuals with disabilities to gain employment. And so that's something I think is just absolutely a critical need in the community. As far as my own background, I've been in banking, I've been with ADECO in international consulting, run my own training company, and then along the line, the constant thing in my life through those 3 careers was Project Hired, where I was volunteering, and then I came on the board, served there for 10 years, 6 years as chairman of the board, and then have had the privilege of being asked back to look after the agency about 3 years ago.
So tell me a brief overview of Project Hired. What exactly Project Hired does?
Project Hired fulfills a need in the community that is often missed. There are a lot of agencies that help developmentally disabled groups of people and individuals, and that's wonderful work, very important work. What we do is we help the individuals with disabilities who seek to go back into mainstream work, and so we provide a 1-year free program that takes them all the way from the beginning of looking for a job. What do I want to do? What can I do? Resume, interviewing, takes them through an entire program that has both individual career coach meetings and workshops and networking facilities that we provide, all the way through to the point where they find a job they want, they're offered something, we go through the negotiations to support them through that, and then onboarding, and then we have a short retention program to help them be successful on the job. So that niche that we fill is specifically where an individual who has any disability is able to go back to work, either part-time or full-time, which is pretty much, without question, not only our goal, but a terrific thing to happen for the community.
Tell me about the negotiation part. You just said you negotiate the wages for your client or the...
Actually, we do not. What we're doing is we're an agency that teaches people how to fish. And so what I mean by that specifically is in this program that we give them, that they participate in, they learn how to find their own job, they learn how to negotiate themselves. We're here coaching them in the background, but they represent themselves, because as a mainstreamed employee, they're going to have to do that anyway. So we're here as the coach and the encourager and the mentor to make sure that they acquire all the skills they'll ever need to find a job, and then also to, on their own, negotiate their pay and the circumstances or guidelines of their job.
What is the Project Hired's role in the community, and who are the people you serve?
So our role in the community is to fill that hole that happens between that happens often for an individual with a disability where they don't have specialized services to support them in looking for a job. And by specialized services, what makes us different from a regular placement organization would be the fact that we actually talk to them about ADA. How do you handle that conversation? How do you talk about your disability? How do you overcome even your own personal feelings around your disability? And remember, you can go back into the workforce and you can do the job that others do. We also educate them on the fact that oftentimes accommodations cost so little and are just very powerful in helping someone do their job. In fact, the average accommodation that any employer ever has to make is under $400 even for an individual. And an accommodation may be something as simple as a scheduling type of thing. So what we provide to our clients who come to us specifically is encouragement, self-confidence, the ability to be able to negotiate and navigate their careers going forward with a disability not being a detriment, but simply being part of who they are. And then for the community specifically, what we're doing is we're putting people back to work. They go ahead and pay their taxes. They're part of a positive impact on the community. We literally reduce homelessness, poverty, and we have actually an impact, hard to prove, but there's less crime in the population that we serve because that population is employed.
What is something you would like to let the community know about Project Hired?
Well, I think one of the things I'd love to do is just give a little background about disability. The first comment I'd make is it's the largest minority group in the United States. And that's something that most people don't know, but it really is. I also think that the disability community needs to always be thought of as part of the diverse community. And often when that discussion's held about diversity, people think very much the last thing might be someone with a disability, but again, consistently throughout my experience, we need to think of diversity as including those with disabilities. I think a couple of things I'd share with the audience, or I'd share with people who are looking, is that we're all going to age into probably 83% of us are going to acquire a disability over time, and that's something that most people don't realize, so that our services, which help people once they're recovering perhaps from acquiring a disability, go back to work, or those who've had a disability and they want to get into the mainstream work, we're here to help them do that. But eventually 83% of us, myself included, are going to be part of that disability community and need support services. So this is where I think the education around what being supportive of individuals with disabilities is all about. It's that population is growing. It's that population currently is the largest minority population in the United States. And very honestly, I'm almost inclined to think it affects everyone's family in some way or another. So we're here to help. We're here to make that better.
You know, earlier I spoke with you and you said invisible disability. Tell me about it.
Well, primarily when someone thinks of helping a disabled individual, they actually think right away, I can see that disability. I would offer to all of you, because I think it's a very important thing to consider, that anywhere between 70 to 75% of disabilities are not seen. You do not, for instance, with someone with PTSD, our returning veterans who we serve also, you don't see in that veteran as you're standing in line at Costco their disability, and yet they are indeed battling something every day. So it's not a wheelchair, not a set of crutches, it's not something you could physically see by something that they walk around with. It's not like that at all. The predominant amount of disabilities are not seen, but are just as massively impactful on someone's life as it would be to be in a wheelchair. And so that's what we're combating also when I say that it's the largest minority population in the United States. Part of the challenge is that can't be seen, and those so many people in society believe that a disability is something you can see, when in fact that's not true. Talking with a veteran will certainly make you aware of that very, very quickly, and that's a population we've served for a long time. Very proud to be supporting our veterans.
Who is someone that has been impacted by Project Hired as a program, and what is the recent success?
We've had many recent successes, but I'm going to choose a wonderful woman by the name of Denise. And Denise had some crippling situations within her life, so that she had to stop working. She'd also lost her husband, and so she was battling some both physical and stress-related disabilities. And she found our services and she came to work with us, and slowly we were able to build her confidence. And we do that in several different ways, not only with the one-on-one meetings, but also with the workshops where you work in teams. But another thing is we have a program here at Project Hired where we put individuals to work here at Project Hired on a volunteer program and get their skills growing, perhaps in the reception area, data processing area, that type of thing. So for Denise, she came here, and it was very difficult for her to even get in the front door, but she did. She started participating. Our coaches were there to help her. Every staff member is part of the team that supports an individual with a disability as they move forward to get their job. And she flowered. She started to see that there was a way forward for her. She eventually interviewed and became a call center operator for the VA administration up in Palo Alto. And I'm very proud to quote her when she says, and this will sound like a lot, but for her it's exactly what she meant, Project Hired saved my life. Now, I'm not sure that we actually did that so much as we made her see the possibilities in her life, and that over great tragedy and great physical and mental challenges, she herself would be able to go back to work and be more in the mainstream of life. And so that's one of the stories that we're really, really proud of. We actually have 6,452 stories to tell, but that's the one I'll choose today.
Well, you said the investment $400. So how any employer can participate or employer can find out about the Project Hired?
That's a great question. So your question encompasses several things, sort of the holistic part of employing someone with a disability. So the first part of your question is what can an employer do, and I'll detail that in a second. And sort of the second part of the question is, how do we help an employer who has the opportunity to employ someone with a disability? So yes, most accommodations are under $400 as it turns out, and many are really more based on schedules and flexibility and like that. But the primary thing an employer can do is hire the individuals that we're helping and open up the mind and opportunity and help to their hiring managers to see that an individual with a disability in a small accommodation can turn out to be, according to studies done nationally here in the United States, to be more dedicated, show up more often, do more intense work, and be more loyal than, say, the average employee, because they're more grateful for having gotten the opportunity to work than the majority of people are. Employers can send us their job openings, and at that particular point we're going to match that with our job developer, their openings with our employees. They can come to our open houses. They're more than welcome to come and set up a table and actually interview our clients here. We don't charge either our client for our services or the placements that we make, so we're actually a free service to both the employer and to the client. And then the last thing I'll comment on is I'm able to hold conversations in a holistic way with an employer because I have employed for many years 38 severely disabled individuals in my call centers. So I can talk to them about what are the challenges, and are the challenges really that much different than the regular population of employees that they're used to? And my answer is going to be no, it's really not that different.
What individuals or the placement can be available for the employer to look for in your organization? Is it just a call center or typist or secretary or what?
Thank you. That's, again, another great question. Well, for instance, last year we placed a couple of PhDs. We placed project managers, a lot of administrative assistants, and IT is a very big population for us to be able to place. We've had individuals go into management and leadership. So anything you can think of as a possibility, we have placed individuals with every skill level and in every kind of job. The question is just send us your job openings and we'll immediately look at our population and see is there a match. And very often there can be at least a candidate that you should be talking to who has some of those skills that you need.
Who are the employers should be asking you, and who are the prospects that you can help the employer with?
Great. Well, two good parts of that question. First are who are the employers who should be interested in our clients? And frankly, it's everybody. And I imagine specifically those that are really running robust inclusion programs within their organizations, because we're an agency that should always be part of an inclusion or disability or diversity program that's going on. The other is, as far as clients, we have such diversity within our clients' skill base. Everything from entry level, Walmart might like you as a greeter, everything from that level all the way up to PhDs that we placed last year, a chemist, and PhD chemist. So again, keep in mind that an individual who acquires a disability could be you or me. My skills most likely don't go away just because I have a disability. Rather, I just need maybe a small accommodation, maybe no accommodation in the end, but my skills don't go away. And so we have every one on the scale that you can imagine. So every company should be interested in our clients, and then we'll work with you to place some individuals with you.
Sharon, would you like to make any closing remarks that will help the community?
Oh, I'd love to very much. First, keeping in mind, anyone you know who has some challenges, an individual with a disability, remember that our services are free, last for a year. We'd be delighted to support them. The other is to remember that our placement services are free to an employee, to an employer, and that's really excellent because as long as you partner with us, we're going to be able to send you candidates that will fill your needs with current skills. So just keep that in mind. And to the community, I'll say, come on down, take a look, have a tour with us. We'd love to be able to make you a part of our family that's supporting our mission, which is to help individuals with disabilities to gain and sustain employment so that we can reduce homelessness, reduce poverty, and really get everybody working so that as a community, we're all self-confident and producing. It makes for an extraordinary community family, and we'd like you to be part of that.